we encourage that meditation be only this: quiet my mind and therefore allow my vibration to rise. But then the momentum of your connection and the power of law of attraction and your inner being will take it into deliberate creation on steroids. What we like to say is tune in and then watch the movie. Don't try to make the movie in order to tune in. Accept the natural alignment and then. And you see, all of the ingredients of that are already in the vortex. So as you connect with who you really are, then those things begin occurring. And as you just relax and let your mind wander. Esther had a meditation like that this morning where she quieted her mind and then the movie just played. And in the past, she thought that her objective in meditation was to quiet her mind. So as soon as thoughts started flowing, she shut them down. Now she understands that those kind of good feeling thoughts, when they start flowing, let them flow. Let the momentum take them. But don't try to orchestrate them from a conscious perspective, because remember that you are the receiver of them, not the projector of them. You're connecting with source so that you can receive the perspective of source. And in time, you won't be able to tell the difference, since you're the translator of the vibration into the visions, into the impulses, into the words. It's like such mutual attraction from each other. It doesn't matter who's doing what. But there's something really letting goingness. There's something really allowing, like when you have the awareness that you're watching the movie, not creating the movie. You're becoming a deliberate allower of what you've already created. Stop nitpicking and justifying and validating and defending. Just step onto that side of the page where you say, am I good or am I bad? I'm good. Am I worthy or am I unworthy? I'm worthy. Am I good at this or am I bad at this? I'm good at this. Am I an extension of source energy or am I the devil? There's no devil. I'm an extension of source energy. Am I liking this or is it hard? I love this. Yeah. So that picture of meditation that we helped you find of withdrawing from the chaos deliberately by tuning to the silence and allowing your vibration to rise, and then how in that room lovely things just started manifesting in your mind all around you. We just wanted to take you back to that because it's a new thing that we have not said before. You create a nucleus that allows the experience that you then witness. So it's really interesting, this business of, the question was asked earlier, what's the difference between the allowing and the deliberate creating? Well, they're sort of kind of the same thing. Life has caused you to indeliberately put a lot of it in the vortex, and now you're deliberately allowing, and now the manifestations at all levels of your being are occurring. We ask you to withdraw from the chaos and tune to source, and now it feels to you like now you have to walk back into the chaos. But it's not like that, because the fact that you've tuned to the source made the chaos go away. Oh, it'll come back, but not right away. And the more you withdraw from the chaos into the stability of what's really going on, the more what you're calling real life will take on the contours of this, of the source, of the vision, of the imagination, the vortex version. You see, the vortex version, that's clarified everything. It's purified everything. It's taken the resistance out of everything. And it's going to manifest. It's going to manifest. And the more you tune to it, the more ready you are, and therefore the more likely it is that those pieces will manifest into your experience. This is the distinction. Remember when we said that your inner being never looks back? So you've meditated, you've found that place. Are you going back into real life or forward into real life? So in the beginning, we talked about this intentionality behind this work that we are about, which was fundamentally produced by Jerry's desire to be the uplifter that he was born to be. And he'd lived a lot of life, and he'd had a lot of practical experiences, so he had a good bead on how people think and where they are. And so, based upon the vibrational basis of the majority of his questions, and subsequently those that gathered around he and Esther in these early days, one day Jerry sat, there were a very small group of people in Jerry and Esther's living room. And Jerry said to us, Abraham, are there any laws that are constant that we could focus upon that would give us some sort of sure-footedness? And we said, yes, we'll name 3. Well, there's only one law, but we knew what he meant. He meant, what can we do? And so we said, there's the law of attraction, and the law of attraction says that what you've got going on vibrationally will attract more of what is going on vibrationally that is just like it. And we coined the phrase, the law of attraction, which simply means that which is likened to itself is drawn. And then he said, what next? And we said, the law of deliberate creation, which means since the law of attraction abounds, then deliberately offering that vibration must come next if you are to be the deliberate creator of your own reality. Those words were already in the atmosphere. Seth had already coined those words through Jane Roberts. You create your own reality, and your point of power is in the present, Seth said. And so Jerry had that basis in his vibrational awareness. And so the way you create your own reality is that the law of attraction is constantly responding to you. But the way you create your own reality is by you deliberately offering the vibration that the law of attraction is responding to. Doesn't that make sense? If you're running around not doing anything deliberate, which led us to the explanation of how you know whether or not you are focused toward what you are wanting or whether you are not. So that required the introduction of the emotions, which are the indicator of what you're really doing vibrationally. Because waiting for a manifestation is too long. That's post-manifestational. If you wait until something's manifested before you are addressing it, there's already so much momentum going that you are then focusing upon that it is harder for you to find your place of well-being. But if you are out ahead of it by caring about how you feel so that you're pre-manifestational, now you just have more ease and therefore more early control in your experience. Of course, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far along anything is. You can always get to where you want to be from wherever you are. There is no danger of not getting what you want. We're just talking about path of most allowance, or in human terms, path of least resistance. And so the law of attraction abounds. And when you care about the way you feel and are deliberately choosing your thoughts based upon that and only that, now you got deliberate creation going on. And then Jerry said, I get that. I think I've been practicing that for a while. I've been teaching positive thought and positive mental attitude, meaning positive mood, meaning feeling good. He said, I don't think I've ever put it together quite like this. I'm getting a deeper understanding of it here. But then he said, what else, Abraham? And we said, well, this is where it really gets personal to humans. Because the law of attraction is whether you know that it is or not. And the law of deliberate intent is really more of a function of what you've been doing than it is about what you are able to do in any point in time, because momentum is momentum. We said the art of allowing is where it really becomes deliberately and personally applicable, because you have to think about what it is that you are actually allowing. He said, do you mean like tolerance? Like looking at someone really misbehaving and just accepting their misbehavior and putting up with it, like tolerance, like not trying to stop it? We said, we mean nothing like that. It's not about tolerating. Allowing is allowing your connection with Source anyway. Ooh. Well, before anyone can even think about allowing a connection with Source, there are some things required. First, Source exists. Next, you can feel when you're in connection with it, and you can feel when you're not. This is what you want to experience. We called it the law of allowing in those early days because that's the way he coined the question and that's the way he received that answer. But the law of allowing is more of an art of allowing because you are not bound by a law to feel good because free will exists. You can choose to feel bad if you want to. But if you choose to feel other than good, if you're choosing thoughts that feel bad, and you develop patterns of doing that just because that's what almost everybody else is doing, then that choice will never be taken from you. You will always have the right in this physical experience because you're out here on this leading edge and wanting to create new desires. And then Jerry asks something very important, and we want to give it to you here. When you reemerge into non-physical, do you still have choice of variance in thoughts? Yeah, you do. Abraham, you mean there is still contrast in the non-physical? There's contrast everywhere. It is just more clearly defined here in the physical because this is the leading edge of thought. This is what you are about. So there are always choices, but we promise you the choices that your inner being always makes in the continuing refining of the next thought in the choices that are made is in the way it feels. And that's the distinction that really determines the difference, the biggest difference between your human tendencies and who you are as non-physical. So then Jerry was on fire. Oh, laws. There's nothing that he likes more than something practical and teachable and definable, something that you can know what you're doing. And so he loved knowing that the law of attraction abounds. He loved knowing that, and he loved knowing that it was going to have its way with him no matter what. And he loved knowing that he could see the evidence of the way law of attraction was responding to his thoughts. And most of all, he loved knowing that the manifestations would show, even if he couldn't discern it earlier, that eventually he would know the results of the thoughts that he was thinking. And you know, that was all right with him. Not because he believed he could control thought right now, but because he knew that the feedback that he was going to get from his own life would help him to more deliberately define the direction of his thoughts. And then the idea of deliberate creation. Oh, he'd been a goal setter and a teacher of that for a long time. He'd been defining his goals. He liked talking about what he wanted. He was very oriented toward thinking about what he wanted. You could not distract him from what he meant about what he wanted. He would never talk in opposition to his own desire. He wrote a paper, a thesis. He really wanted people to understand this. Keep your ideas to yourself until they are fully developed, because he knew that he could be deliberate in his thoughts. Esther could not dissuade him from something that he intended. She learned early on he was the most stubborn person who ever lived on this planet, in that he was going to feel good no matter what. And if you wanted to try to talk him out of it, he'd be nice, but he'd leave you. He'd go somewhere else. And on his way out the door, he would blow kisses, he would squeeze hands, he would remind Esther how much he loved her, but he would not stay in an environment where she was determined to point out some things he might not be considering that might want to dissuade him to a less good feeling thought.